We need to talk about Brock Purdy, Larry.
Well, let's get right to it. I mean, the Niners drafted Brock Purdy, and immediately I saw comparisons. Is Brock Purdy to Trey Lance, what Kirk Cousins was to RG3? Is he there as the kind of insurance policy against, Trey Lance is somehow failing in his efforts to be the Niners starting quarterback? What do you think?
I think it's kind of a bad analogy. Because if I remember correctly, 10 years ago, Kyle was sort of being a contrarian. Dan Snyder sort of forced him and his dad to take RG3. And Kyle was like, Kirk Cousins is better than him. And he sort of campaigned to allow for the franchise to allow him to take a second quarterback that year. I don't think Kyle can play that game with Trey Lance. He wanted Trey Lance. He can't act like there was anyone that forced Trey Lance on him. So Purdy seems like an attempt to recreate Nick Mullins. Kirk Cousins is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I doubt Brock Purdy will ever be a starter. And I don't even know that Kyle thinks he'll even think. Maybe he thinks that about Nate Studfeld, but not Brock Purdy. Am I wrong here?
Well, I'll say this. I think Purdy's a better prospect than Mullins, but probably not as good as Cousins. So he's in between. Now, is he halfway in between? I would say he's probably closer to Mullins than he is to Cousins. That would be my guess. But when I did watch him on the film, Grant, I thought like the arm strength he's not a rag arm guy. He can make more throws outside the numbers based on the film that I saw. And we'll see this summer. We'll get an up close look at it these guys side by side. But it is interesting to me that they have now another young quarterback who looks kind of like the type of quarterback who doesn't need a lot of coaching, who played a lot, who might be ready to step in and actually play. And I'm eager to see what Purdy looks like in training camp and more importantly preseason.
Doesn't Purdy seem like a classic Shanahan quarterback?
He holds the ball too long. A lot of CJ Beathard comparisons.
He's like
he holds the ball a long
like Brian
time.
Greasy.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, they have a type. And I think what's so interesting is when they got Trey Lance, it surprised a lot of people. And I think coming into this offseason, some people expected Kyle to sort of show that he had changed what he looks for in quarterbacks, that they were going to sign Tyrod Taylor. That didn't happen. They signed Nate Sudfeld and drafted Brock Purdy. Like, they really do have a type. I'm not sure how Trey Lance got here.
And I don't want to be overly negative, but I do kind of feel like at this point, it's pretty clear as day that Kyle's whole comment about not wanting Kaepernick and the reasoning behind him not wanting Kaepernick was total crap.
Because what did he say?
He said that he wanted quarterbacks that were of like skill sets. Yeah. And there's no doubt that Trey Lance and Nate Sudfeld are not similar. Trey Lance and Brock Purdy are not similar.
Because I'm thinking there's going to be like a new portion of the offense, like the quarterback-driven run game. All those plays where Trey Lance is the ball carrier. If he gets hurt, that whole section of your offense is thrown away with Nate Sudfeld.
Right.
So wouldn't you want a guy like Tyrod Taylor? Apparently not.
So or maybe the goal of this year's quarterback room is to have it be, incredibly cap friendly. Right? Because Purdy, Sudfeld, Lance is pretty much your cap friendliest quarterback room in the league.
If they get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, I will give them such a standing ovation. Although if they cut him, you'll always have to wonder, like, why didn't you just do that 3 months ago? What were you waiting for? But if a team steps up and trades for Jimmy Garoppolo, my head will explode.
If they cut him, Grant, don't you think they have to offer an explanation?
Yeah, considering they've said repeatedly that they won't do it.
Yeah.
And that they should have done it months ago if they do it now. So, yeah, that's kind of
I wonder, and I was talking to Vish about this earlier today. I'm wondering, is this about Seattle? Is this about, Seattle's not going to trade for a quarterback, but Seattle would maybe pick up Jimmy as a free agent for the league minimum, and it's a game of chicken, and they just don't want him in Seattle? Is all of this about he can, don't let him wind up in Seattle? Or if he does wind up in Seattle, knowing that that's the last real landing spot, if there is such a thing, that it would hurt Seattle to pick him up in July more so than if they picked him up here on the 11th of May?
That's a good question. Let's say maybe. Look at it this way. If the Niners cut Jimmy and teams can just sign him for whatever, a lot of teams might be interested at that point. New England might be interested. New England might want him back if they could get him at their price. They do that all the time with players. let him go, trade him. Guy makes a fortune somewhere else, gets cut, comes back to New England. Now, I know they have Zappy or whatever. They really like Jimmy Garoppolo over there. So I think there's more than one team that might want to sign him, and the Niners might feel like, well, we don't want him to just walk into a really good situation. And it's like that team wins, right? You got him for nothing. You were patient. The Niners had to get cut bait, and you got him for nothing. And ultimately, if it's the Patriots, that's who you traded with. So you were talking about that scorecard that John Lynch is responsible for.
Right.
That can't happen for him.